Next, we have to find the gravitational field due to a uniform circular ring. This is a given ring of mass m and radius r. This is the radius. O is the center of the ring and OP is the axis which pass through the center and perpendicular to the plane of the ring. And point P is at a distance r from the center of the ring. Because ring has the mass distribution continuous on its circumference, therefore we will use differential and integration method to find the gravitational field. For that, we take an elementary mass on the circumference, say it is dm, and this elementary mass will act as a point mass, and we know for point mass gravitational field at a distance r will be equal to gm oblique r square, and it is a vector quantity. So this E will be directed along the point, line joining the point and the mass, and it will be towards the mass because force of gravitation is a attraction force. So it will be E directed towards the mass. So we will use this point mass formula for the gravitational field for this ring. We have taken an elementary mass, so elementary gravitational field will be G dm, and distance of this mass from the point where we have to find the gravitational field. So this distance will be, using the Pythagoras theorem, because this radius and axis make angle 90 degree, it will be root r square plus r square. Therefore, it is r square plus r square. This is the dE, and this dE will act towards the mass, so direction of the dE will be in this way. Suppose the angle between this line joining the point with dm and the axis is theta, then we resolve this dE in two perpendicular components, one along the axis and another perpendicular to the axis, and this component along the axis is along the angle theta, so this component will be dE cos theta, and another is dE sin theta. Now first we will check the contribution of these components towards the total field. Either both will contribute or any one will contribute. For this, we take one of the other elementary mass which is diametrically opposite to the dm, and we draw the electric field due to this elementary mass at the point P. It is again directed towards the mass. This is again another elementary mass, and when we take component of this, one component is along the axis and another is downward. These length of the arrows are not up to scale because we have drawn it to show the clarity for clarity purpose. Otherwise, this is dE again because mass is same and distance of this mass from the point P is also same. Therefore, magnitude of the dE will be equal for the as the above. On resolving this dE also, we will get two component. One is dE cos theta which is along the axis, and another is the dE sin theta which is below the axis. And this dE sin theta and dE sin theta will be cancel out. Overall, it concludes that only component of dE which contributes net field is equal to dE cos theta. Therefore, dE cos theta will be equal to G From this we will write d. This is g, and what is dm? We take dm as it is. This is the elementary mass divided by r square plus small r square. This is dE. And now cos theta. Cos theta is base oblique hypotenuse. Base is r and hypotenuse is this r is the base, and this root r square plus small r square, this is the hypotenuse. So it is base is r oblique hypotenuse is root r square plus r square. Therefore we have g dm oblique r square plus r square raised to power 3 by 2. We combine these two terms, this and this, and remaining is r. Net field will be integration of dE cos theta, and it will be equal to integration of g dm by r square plus r square whole raised to power 3 by 2 into r. And we take common terms out of the integration. G is a constant, r is also constant, and cap radius is also constant. That means gr by r square plus small r square raised to power 3 by 2 are taken out, and remaining is dm. And this sum of dm for whole ring, it will be the mass of ring. Therefore, we will get finally E equal to gm by r square plus r square raised to power 3 by 2 into small r. This is the field due to the circular ring. Now we have said that is a vector quantity, so direction will be towards center of ring. We take as a special case at center. Center means r equal to 0. That is point P is at the O. So r equal to 0, we will find E equal to, if we see the formula, if we put this r equal to 0, then E will become 0. That means at the center of the ring, gravitational field will be 0. And that is obvious from the diagram also. If this is the ring and we take an elementary mass, because of that field is here. It is another elementary mass, field is here. If this is elementary mass, field is in this way, and similarly. That means field is distributed all possible directions, and on taking the vector sum, it will be 0. Therefore, gravitational field due to the circular ring at the center is 0. Next, we will take the gravitational field due to the uniform circular disk. Now this is the disk of mass m and radius r. Radius r is shown here. Because disk has the mass distributed over its area, therefore, to find the gravitational field at the point P, we have to use the differential and integration method. For that, we take an elementary mass, and for disk, the elementary mass is taken as the mass of elementary ring. So this is the elementary ring whose mass is dm, and radius of this elementary ring is x. This is the x, and thickness is dx. Therefore, mass of the elementary ring dm will be equal to total mass of the disk capital M divided by its area pi r square. This will give the mass density, and then multiplied with the area of the ring. This is the area of the ring. This area will be equal to the circumference multiplied by the thickness of this ring, that is equal to 2 pi x into dx. Pi and pi will be cancelled out, so it will be 2m by r square into x dx. Due to the ring, we have found the gravitational field. Gravitational field due to the ring at the axial point was gm oblique r square plus capital R square whole raised to power 3 by 2 into small r, where small r is the distance of the point P from the center of the ring and capital R is the radius of the ring, m is the mass of the ring. We have taken the elementary ring, so we will first find the elementary field due to the elementary ring at point P. Then we will integrate it to find the final field at the point P. So elementary field will be equal to G into mass of the ring is dm divided by, now distance of the point P from the center of ring, it is r again, plus, and what is the radius of this ring? Radius of this ring is x. So we will put here x square raised to power 3 by 2 into, and r will remain as it is r. So this is the elementary field due to the ring. And direction of this field is, it is directed along axis towards center of ring. It means it whole contribute to the net field. That's why final gravitational field will be equal to integral of dE, and replacing this dE with G into dm. dm is 2m by r square into x dx. Then r, this r, and remaining is r square plus x square raised to power 3 by 2. Now we take out the constant term. So this is 2gm, this is a constant, oblique r square, it is also constant, small r it is also constant. Only variable term is x dx by r square plus x square raised to the power 3 by 2. Here x is variable and we have to integrate this to cover the whole disk. We will take x equal to 0, that is the center, to x equal to r, that is the outermost point of the disk. So 2gm by r square into small r. Now to solve this integral or substitute r square plus x square equal to z square, and differentiating, r square is constant, it will be 0 plus 2x dx equal to 2z dz. It is solved using the differential formula. X raised to the power n is nx n minus 1. This is the formula which we used. So this implies that x dx equal to z dz, and we substitute this here. So it is x equal to 0 to r. We are not changing limit at present. Then it is z dz oblique. Here it is z square and raised to power 3 by 2. It will be simply z cube. It is equal to 2gm oblique r square into r. This z will be cancelled, so it is z square integral x equal to 0 to r dz z square. If we integrate this z square 1 by z square, so it will come with this formula 2gm r by capital R square minus 1 by z. This is the integral of 1 by z square, and put the limit x equal to 0 to r. Because limits are in term of x, so we replace this z original formula, that is, it is 2gm oblique r square into r minus 1 by r square plus x square is z square, so z is root r square plus x square, and limits are 0 to r. Now we put the limits, so it is equal to 2gm oblique r square into r. First upper limit, it will be minus root r square plus r square, then minus, and with this minus it will become plus, and put x equal to 0, so it will come simply r, 1 by r. Hence we can finally write it as 2gm by r square into r 1 by r minus 1 by root r square plus r square. If we take this r inside, it will give 2gm oblique r square 1 minus r oblique root r square plus r square. We can remember this in this form. Also we can check r by root r square plus r square. This is the r, and this length is root r square plus r square, because this is the 90 degree. Radius makes always a 90-degree angle with the axis. So this is r, this is root r square plus capital R square, and this angle is theta. So we can say cos theta is base oblique hypotenuse. So that means r by root r square plus r square. This is basically a cos theta. So we can write it is 2gm oblique r square 1 minus cos theta. This is the gravitational field at a point P, which is at a distance r from the center on the axis.